Well, a very warm welcome to tonight's video. Tonight we are looking at the Anglia Car Auction's January sale, which is always a highlight of the new year in the UK. This film is recorded late at night from Dubai. Everybody is fast asleep and I've had a couple of beers, so it's going to be interesting to see what cars we pick out for tonight's video. But without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Now, annoyingly, Anglia organise their listings in alphabetical order and then they go through in lot order on the Saturday and the Sunday, but we're going to go through it exactly as they do on the website. So join me as we browse the Anglia Classic Car Auction's catalogue for the weekend of 25th and 26th of January. First up, an Aston Martin DB6 postponed due to a delay in probate, but that looks reasonably estimated at £20,000 to £25,000. I'm loving the Triumph 2500S Estate Auto. That looks like the perfect surfer mobile. Then we've got a Vauxhall Victor Deluxe FB. It does look like a particularly clean car and cheap if you want tax and MOT free motoring. 2003 Alfa Romeo 147 3.2 V6. Obviously, well, that's a yes from me. And a 1982 Austin Mini 1000 City E. It looks clean in that green colour with a sunroof on those mini lights. £2,500 to £3,500. Cheap in mini terms. Then we have a 1987 Ford Escort RS Turbo. Again, reasonably estimated at £7,000 to £9,000. Those RS Turbos have been going wild, so that's quite a sensible estimate on a fast Ford. Jaguar XJS 5.3 V12 automatic. Again, that just looks ludicrously cheap at £2,500 to £3,500, especially when you could have a Wolseley Hornet Mark II for £3,000 to £4,000. I know I'd rather be driving home in the Jag. 1987, not very interested. 1957 Ferguson FE35, absolutely, I will have that. And I quite enjoyed the last Anglia Car Auctions that I watched when the cars were failing to attract any bids, but then a little tractor came through and suddenly everybody wanted it. That Astra is a Chavmobile. Then you've got a Mercedes-Benz W110 190C Fintail, £7,000 to £9,000. I like the look of that, but hold your bids because we've got a W126 500 saloon coming up later on. Alfa Romeo 75 TS 2 litre. Well, the main thing is with that is, when did you last see one? There just don't seem to be any of those around at all. So if you're looking for an Alfa Romeo 75, I guess this is the one. Sunbeam Alpine Coupe 1971. Again, that is lovely. No reserve, so it could go through for a bargain. Reliant Scimitar 3 litre GTE. Princess Anne had one of those, wouldn't you know? Looking cheap at £2,500 to £3,500 estimate. Really? Is that all those are worth? And again, a Morris Minor Traveller, £4,000 to £5,000. Why haven't they gone up in money? That just seems ridiculously cheap for what it is. Another Rover here, a Mini 1000 City E, 1991, so a pretty late one. £2,500 to £3,500. Again, looking pretty cheap. Then we've got a Land Rover Series 2A, £8,000 to £10,000. Wouldn't bother. It's definitely going to get stolen. Citroen 2C V6 Dolly, the happiest car in the auction with that great big ragtop roof. Why not? No reserve. What's it going to go for? That's a bargain at anything under £5,000. MG Midget 1500. Again, this is a late one. It's a 1977. It's a rubber bumper model, but doesn't that just look like a cheap car? £2,500 to £3,500. Be very interesting to see what that makes. And then you've got a 2001 Skoda Felicia Fun pickup. These only came in yellow. They have pull-out rear seats. They're absolutely super cool, but they've all rusted away and they have found their way in the classic car world. So £4,000 to £6,000 for the Skoda Felicia Fun. Now, £4,000 to £6,000 seems to be the sort of magic area because there's so many cool cars in this auction at that sort of money, like this 1968 Triumph Vitesse convertible. That looks beautiful at £3,000 to £4,000. And then you've got a 1991 Nissan Micra 1 litre LS. Again, when was the last time you saw one as clean as that? And then a 1972 Ford Capri 2000 in yellow with a vinyl roof, £8,000 to £10,000. Yes, I'll take that. Not interested in the Panther Lima and not particularly interested in the 1936 Ford Model Y. But at £4,000 to £6,000, that Ford Model Y, that's very old. That's almost a 100-year-old car for no money. I'm absolutely loving this Jaguar 420G automatic, £5,000 to £7,500. You will look like an absolute baller rolling around in that, the sort of old-fashioned gangster mobile. So yes, I'll go for that. Audi TT Quattro convertible, lot number 275. Yes, again, looks to me like it's the 3.2. So £4,000 to £6,000, that could be a bargain as a future classic. Try a Spitfire Mark III, £8,000 to £10,000. Not particularly interested at that money. I'd prefer it at the magic number of £3,000 to £4,000. 1998 Subaru Impreza Turbo 2000 all-wheel drive. To find one that hasn't been wrapped around a tree or is currently living on a council estate on jack stands, £8,000 to £10,000, and I think it'll hit that. 1964 Land Rover Series 2A. That's a cool thing. It's a short wheelbase, £8,000 to £10,000. If you own a ranch in South Africa, you need to buy that. 1986 Citroen CX-25 Prestige Auto. That is, without a doubt, the most comfortable car in the Anglia Classic Car Auctions. £5,000 to £7,000. What's it going to make? We'll find out on the day. Now, I'm absolutely loving lot number 280, Toyota Previa GL. When did you last see a really clean Toyota Previa? Well, you didn't, because they all ended up in Birmingham and Bradford, and they've all got 300,000 miles on the clock, and they're all being sold by people on Facebook Marketplace who want far too much money for rusty cars. So, if that's a nice one, it's well worth a bid. 2005 Smart Roadster Coupe Brabus Automatic. Yes, great little car. Will do 40 to 50 miles per gallon and will pin a smile on your face. £6,000 to £8,000. I'm having that. Fiat Coupe 20-valve turbo. These seems to have come down in price. £4,500 to £5,500. Not a lot of money for a very pretty car. 2010 Renault Clio Gordini seems very new, but they've quite quickly joined the classic car world at £5,000 to £7,000. And then lot number 284, I know you all love this, 1989 Mercedes-Benz C124 300CE. That's a coupe. It's running on a G-Reg, £2,500 to £3,500, and I think that looks fairly cheap. Not bothered about the 1956 Austin A30 with no reserve, but I do like this BMW 540i Sport Auto with the M parallel wheels on a 51 reg, £2,500 to £3,500. Better text Ian about that one, because I know he's been after one, but that looks clean. If it's not 50 Shades of Silver when you get there, then pop a bid on that for me. 1989 Ford Fiesta 1.1 Mark II left-hand drive. Odd car, but no reserve, so you could be on for a cheap fast forward there. And if you fancy a risk, 2001 Mercedes-Benz CL500. Looks like it's sitting fairly low, which suggests to me that the air suspension has long since been replaced by cheap coilovers, but that is a 5-litre V8 Mercedes-Benz for less than £4,000. And more than £4,000 is the 1993 Rover Mini Cooper 1.3, £4,500 to £5,500. It's a pretty classic shape, you know. It's the red with the white stripe with the white roof. It's pretty lovely, but I do think Mini prices have kind of stabilised because they did go up for a while and seem to have come back down quite significantly. 2010 Renault Twingo RS Cup, cool car. I wouldn't want it in white, but £2,500 to £3,500, absolutely a future classic. That is, if there will be any classics in the future, depending on what the government legislation has got in store for us. Lot number 291, BMW 525 SE Auto, 6 cylinders. It's got the right wheels on it, looks the part, no money for a car that will actually last forever. £2,500 to £3,500. 1966 Morris Minor, they've put it in with no reserve because basically everybody that wants a Morris Minor has already bought one, so nobody knows what they're worth anymore. Could be a bargain. I suspect that'll go for about £3,000. 1990 Rover Mini Mayfair, again another Mini. If you're into Minis, there's a lot of choice in this auction. No reserve on that one, and also no reserve on this 2006 Mercedes CLK 350 Elegance. Lovely car, but watch out for the tax bracket. There is a chance, I think you're okay on this one because it's a 56 plate, but some of the later CLK 350s are £750 a year road tax, which absolutely stings. I love this 1997 Toyota Camry 2.2. That's very cool, but I'm just not sure who's buying it. 2000 Mercedes CLK 430 Avant-Garde in a beautiful shade of turquoise metallic. The 430 is famously the most juicy of all the Mercedes engines. The 5 litre and the 5.5 litre AMG engines were better on fuel than the 430. I think if you can get that car bought for about £3,000, you're laughing. 1993 Volvo 850 GLT. Now you'd think that I would love this one, but I don't, because it's an early pre-facelift car and it's a saloon, so I'm out. I also think this went through the auction last time and didn't sell. 1994 Rover Mini Mayfair, £2,500 to £3,500. Again, if you've got £4,000 to spend and you want a Mini, you are spoilt for choice in this auction. 2000 BMW Z3 2 litre. Not sure about the wheels on that one, and I think the one you want is the 1.9 with a manual gearbox. I'm going to pass on that, but at no reserve. Could be a 1,500 quid car. 1979 MGB GT. Everybody who wants an MGB GT has already bought one, which is keeping the prices low. Ford Street Car, don't even bother. 1984 Talbot Horizon LS Auto. If you want to go to the Festival of the Unexceptional, I guess you're going to be able to go in that. I think that car will do £3,500 to £4,000. 1998 Toyota Celica SR, lot number 303. These Celicas are very sensitive to alloy wheels. If you don't get the right set of alloy wheels on them, they just don't look right. I do think they represent very good value for money. 1956 MG Magnete, again, very cool way to avoid paying road tax and an MOT and get cheap insurance. 1996 BMW E36 323i Coupe. I can't buy that for £2,500 to £3,500 because I miss the days when you could pick those up for 500 quid. 1973 Triumph Spitfire Mark IV. I don't know what the person was thinking when they put the alloy wheels on that, but I think the chances of that reaching the £5,000 to £7,000 estimate is nil. Lot number 307 Audi A8 4.2 Quattro automatic. It's a yes from me at £2,500 to £3,500. That's a lot of car for the money. 2000 Mercedes-Benz SLK 200. I'm out. It's got the wrong engine. 1994 Vauxhall. No, thank you. 2005 Mazda 2 Capella automatic. That's the doorbell. Not really sure that should be in the auction. £2,000 to £3,000. Must be low mileage. 2000 Saab 95 SE V6 Turbo Auto. I've not yet had a V6 Turbo Auto, but I like the colour and it looks a clean car. 2001 Ford Escort, no thank you. 2002 Land Rover Freelander V6 G4 automatic, yes, absolutely, but why has it got an automatic gearbox? Anything with a G4 in it is cool. 1998 Rover 214S, that's worth about 350 quid. 2004 Audi TT Roadster 150 horsepower, again, I see that at 1,500 quid. 2002 Porsche Boxster 3.2S convertible, it's got the wrong wheels on it, but it's no reserve, you could be in for a bargain. 2008 Mercedes SLK 350 Auto, estimate 3 to 4, but it would be 5 to 6 if it had silver wheels. You should never ever put black wheels on a car. Lot number 318, 1993 Renault 5 Campus, yeah, why not? That's a cute little car, but I had one once, couldn't sell it for love nor money. Everybody wants to look at it, nobody wants to buy it. 1998 Range Rover 4.6 HSE automatic, put the correct wheels on it and you will make a profit. 1998 Toyota RAV4 GX Henpocalypse. For some reason, I like it. It's got no reserve, it's bright pink, why not? And then I'm absolutely loving lot number 321, I think, with the current state of the world. An ex-police, fully branded police Ford Transit 330 mid-wheelbase could be a very good buy. Lot number 322 is a Volkswagen T25 Caravelle camper. I don't know what somebody's done to the paint. It's terrible, but it could be on for a bargain because it's no reserve. Lot number 323 is a BMW E21 320, bit of a project, £3,000 to £4,000, but those E21s are now a lot of money. Lot number 324, 1999, Bentley Arnage. It's 112,000 miles, and I know that because I've already looked at this one because, not going to lie, I quite fancy falling asleep in the back of that. £7,000 to £9,000 is no money for a car that would have cost, when it was new, more than a house. Lot number 325, BMW E46 M3 Coupe. Obviously, why not? You're always going to enjoy an M3 Coupe. Then we've got another Alfa Romeo here, a 147 T-Spark Lusso, so a fairly basic car. Could be on for a bargain at around £500 to £700. Lot number 327, a Peugeot 205 GL. Nice, innocent little car. If you've got a teenager that's looking to start driving, that could be the one for you. £2,500 to £3,000? Blame. The scrappage scheme. Lot number 328, Volkswagen Polo 1.4L. No reserve, again, could be on for a three-figure bargain. 2005 Volkswagen Caravelle Executive 3.2 V6 Auto. I didn't know they did a 3.2 V6 in a Caravelle. So, if you're desperate to spend money on fuel duty, that could be the camper van for you. Lot number 330, 1979 Ford Fiesta 1.1L project. Be interesting to see what that makes and just to see how much Ford prices have cooled. Lot number 331. Does that really deserve to be here? It's a Toyota Corolla VVTi GS automatic, estimated at £2,500 to £3,000. I see that at 800 quid. 1989 Toyota MR2 pop-up headlights. Obviously, very cool and no reserve. Lot number 333, a Jaguar XJ Sovereign TDVI Auto. I keep an eye on these on Facebook Marketplace, and £4,000 to £5,000 for that specification is not bad. That's well worth a look. Now, coming up at lot number 334, this is one of my picks for the auction. This is a 1990 Mercedes W126 500 SE Auto. That has one of the most dependable 5-litre V8 engines that Mercedes ever fitted to a car. It's on a W126, which will last forever. That is a forever car. It will be lovely to drive, and it will look $1 million everywhere you pull up. Estimate £4,000 to £6,000. I think that's a bargain. That's the Geoff pick of the auction. Lot 335, an Audi S4 Estate, £2,500 to £3,500. Yes, definitely. I can see some growing room in the price of that. I don't understand why that's so cheap for an S4 when there is another Audi further down. I'm sure I saw one in this auction, estimated at way more than that. I think that's a bargain. 2001 Mercedes 320 V6 Auto, lot 336 with no reserve. That 320 V6 automatic is an absolute peach. 2002 Vauxhall Astra Irmscher SRI 16 valve, 2750 to 3750. Not sure on that one, must be low mileage, but if you're into your Vauxhalls, that's one for you. 1989 Honda CRX, lot number 338. Again, when did you last see one, and can you believe that they're now estimated at £5,000 to £7,000? Lot number 339 is a Mercedes-Benz SLK 200 wrong engine. 1989 Nissan S Cargo Automatic. Tell you what, that's a better buy than an electric van if you're looking for a new van for your company. Lot 341 Citroen Saxo VTR, ready to go racing at £5,000 to £7,000, and probably the most fun you can have on a track for cheap. Lot 342 is a Mazda MX-5 convertible. Don't tell anyone, but the Mark III Mazda MX-5 is probably all the car you will ever need. Lot 343 TVR 290S. Does that have a Rover V8 in it? If it does, that is not a lot of money for a TVR with a V8 at £6,000 to £8,000. Lot 344 Porsche Cayman S Tiptronic S, £7,000 to £9,000. Yes, it's got a few tweak bits on it, and it does kind of look like it's gone through Halfords, and it's a Tiptronic, but that's not a lot of money for a Porsche. Lot 345 Mazda MX-5, £3,500 to £4,500. Special edition, but don't forget there were about 10,000 different special edition Mazdas in the time that they were building the car. Lot 346 is a Volvo 440 that someone hasn't even bothered to put a rear wheel trim on. And another pick from me here is Lot 347, the Mercedes-Benz SL 320 Auto. That's an early one, so it's a 24 valve and it's two-tone. £2,500 to £3,500. I might well be having a bid on that one myself. That is a bargain. Lot 348 is a short wheelbase Mitsubishi Shogun. I'm sorry, but they'll always be cool, which is why it's £4,500 to £5,500, which seems ludicrous when you put next to the Mercedes SL. Lot 349 is a Stag, and surely Triumph Stag values have been helped by the final episode of the Grand Tour, but this one is estimated at just £3,000 to £4,000. Lot 350 looks expensive to me. It's an XJ6 Gold 3.2 Auto at £3,000 to £4,000. I like that at about 1,500 quid. And lot 351 Ford Sierra LX 1.8 TD. Where on earth did they... There's another delivery. Where on earth did they find a 1.8 turbo diesel Ford Sierra for this auction? £2,500 to £3,500. Just daily it. Give it some rust protection and daily it. Lot 352 Jaguar XK 4-litre coupe auto. I had one of these on the channel, didn't think much of it, but that is not a lot of money for that car. Lot number 353 you should absolutely avoid because somebody's put chrome wheel arch extensions on there, so it's a no from me. Lot 354 is a Volkswagen Polo G40, but unfortunately that comes with added Volkswagen tax, although it's very cool. £5,000 to £6,000, maybe worth keeping an eye on. Here's another pick from me, lot 355. This is the one I'd be buying. This is a 1998 Jaguar XJR 4-litre V8 automatic. Mrs. Geoff's just ordered pudding and it's just arrived to the house. Jaguar XJR 4-litre V8 automatic with no reserve. I would be bidding on that because that looks fantastic. It's got the right wheels on it. It hasn't got the chrome pack because it's a sport model. and it's got a wooden wheel. So I'm down with that. 1999 Ford Ranger 2.5 diesel, well, that should be exported and someone should bolt a machine gun to it. 1994 Ford Escort L Special Edition, you'd have to be mental to bid on that. And now that Donald Trump's in, I can actually say that. 2004 Mitsubishi L200 GL 4-work long wheelbase. Now that's an odd one because it's the half cab, so you don't get seats in the back, but you do get a bit more space. And then you've got a 1970 Land Rover 109, £4,000 to £6,000 and ready to drive around your ranch in South Africa. I like that quite a lot, and I don't like Land Rovers. Lot number 360 is the Mercedes-Benz R107 280 SL automatic in signal red with beige leather and Mexican hat alloy wheels. If that goes for anything like the estimate, it's a bargain. Buy it and drive it, because the 280 is actually the pick of the bunch. Trust me, I do know a little bit about these SLs. You should buy that car. Lot 361 is an Austin Cambridge A55 Mark II, and at this point I'm regretting starting this video because there's far more cars in this video than I realised, so let me know if you made it to the midway point, because I've still got quite a way to go. £4,000 to £5,000, absolutely. I think all of these cars that are less than £6,000 that have got free tax and no MOT should be well worth looking at. Another Jaguar here, XKR 4-litre automatic in a lovely blue with no reserve. MGB Roadster here that looks like it's ready to go racing, and a 2000 Jeep Wrangler Sport 2.5. That looks pretty cool at £4,000 to £6,000. I don't know why anyone would buy a London taxi unless they want to go into making adult movies. And at lot number 366, I need to check where my darling wife is. Darling wife, where are you? She's nowhere to be seen. But we had a Vauxhall Frontiera Sport in that exact colour many, many moons ago before children came around. And, darling, remember this car?
What car? Vauxhall, yes, I do.
Yeah. Doesn't actually hold good memories.
I'm not saying anything.
Mrs. Geoff is not saying anything. 1989 Austin Mini 30. It's a special edition, but it's £5,000 to £6,000, which seems like a lot of money to me. Jaguar XJ Sport 3.2 V8 Auto. I just can't get around the silver colour and those wheels. Lot number 369 is a 2003 Smart MCC City Brabus. Those Brabus special editions will be going up in value. I think people will start to realise just how much fun they are, and they can still get 50 miles to gallon. What have you got there? Cheesecake. Nice. Did you get that delivered on a moped? Well, that's a bit of a treat, isn't it? Blimey neck, carrying the box and everything. Lot number 370 is an MGTF. I love an MGTF. Don't mention head gaskets, they've all been done by now. That smells amazing. Lot number 371 is another Mazda MX-5 Mark III, £2,500 to £3,000. I'm sorry if you're watching and you want some cheesecake, you can't have any. Lot number 372 is a 1964 Land Rover Series 2A, £5,000 to £7,000. No, I'm not live, but I don't really want to edit this. So, what you got there? Raspberry and what? Raspberry and chocolate.
Cheesecake.
And just cheesecake.
Yeah.
Nice. I won't tell the viewers that we're enjoying a cheesecake at 10 o'clock at night just before we leave Dubai. Lot number 373 is a Mark II Mazda MX-5, which is arguably slightly better than the Mark III Mazda MX-5 because it's more classic. £3,500 to £4,500. Fairly stable prices on these, I would have thought. And then lot number 374, 2012, a Land Rover Defender 110 XS Turbo Diesel, £24,000 to £28,000. But what's great about that is you could add 10,000 miles on it and then sell it for exactly the same as what you paid for it, because that's the way Land Rover Defender values work. Lot number 375, Citroen BX GTI 16 valve. That is a cool car, £3,000 to £4,000. And then lot 376, VW T2 Camper, 1980, so it's clearly a Mexican import, £4,500 to £6,500. That is no money. Another Stag here, a 1973 in white and automatic, £4,500 to £5,500, and then a Rusty Mini for no reserve. And then we've got some Land Rovers, an 88 at £3,500 to £4,000, an 88 with no reserve, a 110 crew cab. Is that good? Mrs. Geoff is having an orgasm behind me. Triumph Dolomite 1850 that needs work. I'm going to swerve that one. Saab 900 Turbo. I could go for that. That'd be quite an enjoyable daily car. Looks like it needs some work, but at no reserve, that could be a bargain. 1975 Morris Marina 1.8 SDL, you'd have to be mad. 1987 Ford Fiesta XR2, it's got to go cheap in order to justify the price you'd have to spend on restoring that, because Ford prices have come down. 1991 Astra GTE. Astra prices are always tricky. They never do as well as the fast Ford. That looks like it's a couple of shades of white. That one's going to struggle to go for any big money. Lot 387, 1968 Triumph Herald. Don't really get it, if I'm totally honest. Lot 388, 1978 Daimler 66 Vanden Plas Automatic. Yes, I would absolutely buy that if there wasn't so many other cars that I would rather have at the £3,000 to £4,000 bracket. I'd probably stretch a little bit further and buy that Bentley Arnage or the Jaguar XJR that I discussed earlier on. 1959 Standard Pennant, I've honestly got no idea who's buying that. 1978 Daimler Sovereign 4.2 long wheelbase automatic, again, very cool. No reserve, but there's lots of cool cars that I'd buy instead, but I wouldn't buy this Toyota Corolla 1.3 GL. That deserves to go and live in Birmingham with all the others. 1989 Bedford Astra Max van. That's kind of cool. If I had a carpet company, I'd absolutely park that out the front and have it sign written in retro graphics. Now, lot number 393, Rover SD1 3500 V8. Very cool, but clearly in need of some restoration, as is the 1983 brown Austin Mini Metro 1000. I see that car at a couple £100. And this one, a 1965 Land Rover Series 2A station wagon needing full restoration. And this one, Land Rover 109 Series 3 long wheelbase, all needing work. I do like the 1990 Range Rover Vogue SE Auto, and because I like it, that means it's going to go for some money because everybody else likes them as well. And then you've got a left-hand drive Carmen Beetle convertible needing restoration. That could be a bargain. Now, into the motorbikes, there's quite a lot of these, and this video is already far too long, so I'll whip through them. Mrs. Geoff agrees. I'll whip through them as fast as I can. I like the GS450E Suzuki in the top right, that's cool, but I can pass by all of the others. I do like the 1991 Honda CBR 1000F, but I can pass by all the others. I'll take none of them on this row, and none of them on this row, but I do like the Honda CB 400NB over there, and I quite like that Yamaha RD 350, although I can't tell you why. Suzuki GT380, obviously, that's pretty cool. I like the Z250, I like the H250, I'm not bothered about the GSXR 750, that clearly needs a lot of work. I'll take nothing on that row, nothing on that row, nothing on that row. I'll have the RD200 over here, and that's quite cute, isn't it? The 1972 Suzuki 120 CCI. Obviously, I love the Suzuki F50. I don't really want any projects, so I'm not going to go for that one. The brown Yamaha V90. Obviously, I love that because it matches my brown Volvo. And I do like this little Honda NC50 Express. That'd be brilliant out here in Dubai. I'll take the FR80. That looks pretty cool. And this Honda C50 because I love the fact that the number plate is mounted horizontally on the front mud flap. I do quite like the Mobilite Moped 50cc, although it needs some work. But right at the bottom here, we've got a Francis Barnett 200cc Beach Racer style. I don't know what that is, but it looks to me like that's a kettle on the top, so maybe you can make a cup of tea as you're bombing along. I love the Yamaha RXS 100. That could be worth a bid if you're looking to get into motorbiking. And I like the BSA Barracuda C25 because it's called a Barracuda, and that's a cool name. I love the Triumph Trident 750. That's a great looking bike, £1,500 to £2,000. No money for such a nice bike. And I do like the 1997 Adventurer, sort of the forgotten Triumph, these two. The 2000 Triumph Legend TT as well. Everybody overlooks these bikes, but they were such good bikes back in the day. I love the 2007 Ducati GT 1000. That's a great looking bike, but £6,000 to £8,000, strong money. You could buy a Bentley Arnage and have a nap in the back for that. 1990 Honda Goldwing, £2,500 to £3,000. You got a choice of Goldwings there. There's three of them for similar money. Which one are you going for? None of them. Buy the XJR. That is pretty much it. I do like the Easy Rider Quinco. Maybe someone can correct me on how you say it. And I obviously love the Mobilite Moto Bicane 40V down here. Don't know a great deal about these bikes, but I think they look pretty cool. I'll take the Ducati Daytona 250 because it's very pretty, but not at £6,000 to £8,000. As I said, you can buy a Bentley for that. 2003 Ducati 999 BIP with Fila graphics. Do you remember Fila shoes, darling? Everyone had Fila shoes, didn't they?
Fila.
Yeah, all right. So you had a pair of Filas?
Beige pair.
Beige pair. I had a pair of
High top ones.
high tops. Nice. I had a pair of Filas as well. So we'll go for that. And the 1993 Cagiva Mito 125. Love it. Absolutely love it. You just can't find good quality Cagiva Mito 125s, which is why that's going to do some proper money. Oh my gosh, there's more cars. It just goes on and on. Ford Cortina Console Mark 1, that's worth 1,500 quid. 1983 Mini City, that needs restoration, but there's no reserve on that, so that could be a bargain. Morris Mini Moke, that's great, but you can't use it in the UK because it doesn't have a roof, and we live in a miserable country that's grey all the time. It's constantly raining, so you're only going to be able to drive it on one day of the year. You're going to keep it for 1 year, then you're going to sell it. 1957 Messerschmitt KR200, again, very cool, but not great, not very usable, but has a very, very good and active owners group, so it could be worth buying to get involved with that. MG Midget Project and MGA Roadster Project. Not sure, don't see any value in any of these. Ford Capri 2.8, if you fancy a restoration at home, then go for it. Ford Sierra Sapphire Cosworth 4x4, again, I preferred these when they were £5,000. Now that they're £25,000 to £30,000, it just seems a whole lot less fun. And the headlamp wash wipe is not seated correctly on the headlamp, so I'm out. E-types, no point. Everybody that wants an E-type has got an E-type, and everybody that has an E-type right now is trying to sell it. Escort RS 2000, again, you're too late on the Mark 1. Escort RS 2000s, everybody that's got one has already got one, and the good ones are going to start dribbling onto the market all at the same time. 1949 Austin Pathfinder. That's an interesting little thing at £4,000 to £6,000. 1983 Ford Escort RS 1600. That's cool. I prefer that over the RS Turbo because it's the rarer car, and there's just something cool about the early RS 1600. Lot number 529, I'm sure we've seen this car before in Anglia Car Auctions, a Toyota Celica 1600 ST TA23 with no reserves. If you like your Jap stuff, that could be for you. And a 1988 Toyota MR2 T-Bar with just 44,000 miles on the clock, 10 to 15,000 pounds. That seems like a lot of money, and the problem that I've got with that is you take that to a car show and nobody will know that you've paid 10 to 15,000 pounds. Everybody will think you've paid a lot less, and the whole ethos of the Geoff channel is about doing the opposite. MGB Roadster at 10 to 12, love the colour, but I don't see it at that kind of money just because what's the point? There's so many to choose from. 1954 MGTF, a lovely thing if you like cars from the 1950s, and they are on a downward slide. 1995 VW Corrado VR6 Storm, very cool car, and a car that's absolutely finding its way in the classic car world at 10 to 12,000 pounds. I can't believe that. I sold one of them some years ago for 4,000 quid. 1988 Bedford Astra Van, one owner. Well, I will add that to my collection if I own a carpet shop. 6,000 to 8,000 pounds is a lot of money. 2005 Aston Martin Vantage V8. That is a cheap way into a fast car at 20 to 25,000 pounds, but there's a lot of them available. Jaguar Mark II at 20 to 23,000 pounds. Looks to me like it's had some racing tweaks and it's got knockoff wheels, so that's a cool car. And this is one I was talking about earlier, a 2000 Audi RS4 Quattro Estate for 20 to 24, or the S4 Estate that I showed you earlier that looks like a better buy. 2009 Ford Mustang GT left-hand drive, 21 to 23,000 pounds. Looks like a special edition one. Very cool, but again, I had a look earlier on. There's quite a lot of Mustangs for sale in the UK. 1968 Jensen Interceptor Mark 1 will always be a good-looking car. Will it always hold its value? I don't know. 28 to 34, quite a wide reserve on that one. That says to me that the auction house aren't completely sure where that car's going to sit. 2001 Porsche 996 911 3.4 C4 Tiptronic S. It's a convertible that nobody likes, and you can buy a 996 convertible for about 13 grand. Trust me, I've been looking, so it'll be interesting to see what that car makes. 1964 Sunbeam Rapier, again, good looking car, limited market at 9 to 11,000 pounds. I see that around about 6. And a 1976 Chevrolet Camaro 5.7 V8 auto, left-hand drive in metallic brown at 8 to 10. That just looks like a bargain when you put it next to the 1964 Sunbeam Rapier. I know which one I'd rather drive. 1965 Mercedes 230 SL Pagoda. Well, in a previous life, I used to be involved with these, and 55 to 65,000 pounds is extremely cheap for a Pagoda of any sort. So if that's a nice one, you could be on for a bargain. It's also a right-hand drive, so that could be a lovely buy. But nobody likes a white Pagoda. 99 Rover Mini Auto at 7 to 9,000 pounds. Crikey, that's Benny Arnage money. 1988 Ford Capri 2.8 litre 15 to 18,000 pounds. Looks like it's got the cool Tickford style body kit, so maybe people go for that. I don't know a huge amount about Capri values. And then over here we have a 2003 MG ZT SE 260 V8, 6 to 8,000 pounds. Cool car, Rover V8 power in your Rover 75. I love lot number 547, 1962 Mercury Monterey 5.7 V8 left-hand drive, 9 to 12,000 pounds. Not sure about the wheels; they're a bit lower out of spec, but that's a cool car. And lot number 548, Ferrari Mondial left-hand drive. But I just can't help remembering when these were £14,000, so I'm going to struggle with that one. Lot 549 is another Jaguar 240, estimate 10 to 12. Rather beautiful, to be fair, if you like Inspector Morse. And then big ticket car here, 1962 Alfa Romeo Giulietta Sprint left-hand drive, 30 to 35,000 pound. A very good looking car, as is the Sunbeam that is next to it. If I can come back to that, Alpine Series 5. I think that's one of the finest looking 60s convertibles. 9 to 11,000 pound. Can't help thinking that's a bargain. 1970 Morris Minor 1000 at 4 to 6,000 pounds. Another Peugeot 205 here at 1.1 style, arguably more desirable because it's the 3-door. And then there's no reserve as well, so that could be a bargain for Sunday. 1984 Ferrari BB 512, left-hand drive at 165 to 175,000 pounds. Have a little Google of those Ferrari BB 512s. They might be an absolute pain in the butt to drive and own, but that's cheap relative to where prices were a few years ago. I also think I've seen this car going through auction before and it didn't sell, but don't sue me if I'm incorrect. 1972 Vanden Plas 1300 Princess, 4.5 to 5,500 pounds. I'm sorry, I just can't do that when you can buy a Jaguar XJR for the same money. 2002 MG ZS with 6,520 miles. Well, that's 1,500 quid. We all know that. 2005 Honda S2000, 14 to 16,000 pounds. Hugely desirable cars with a strong following. Lancia Delta Integrale left-hand drive, Verde York, rare colour, 60 to 80,000 pounds. These cars are really finding their way in the classic car market and seem to be pretty solid buys at the minute. Lot 559, 1968 MGC Roadster, 18 to 20,000 pounds. Seems a lot of money for a car. Again, there's going to be a lot of those coming onto the market as soon as people start to sell them. 1991 Citroen AX 1.4 GTI with just 15,000 miles. Might seem expensive, like 12 to 15,000 pounds, but find another one. That's the thing. If you had one of those back in the day, you're going to have to buy that one. Same with this 1989 Ford Escort XR3i. They're just getting hard to find in really good condition, and I think that looks pretty well priced at 6 to 8,000 pound. Nice clean car. 1966 Singer Gazelle, again, nice thing if you're looking to go MOT and tax-free. 2008 Mercedes SL 500 Sport Edition. That's in the higher tax bracket, so you gotta love it. And I think it's got the wrong wheels on it. 1954 Triumph TR2. I just don't find cars like that attractive. Maybe you do, but 15 to 18,000 pound seems like a lot of money when you can actually have a 60s car and that Jaguar XJR for the same amount. Lot number 565 is a 2009 Bentley Continental Flying Spur. I quite like these. These are quite smart cars. 14 to 16,000 pounds, so basically about the same as a Dacia Jogger. 1971 Land Cruiser FJ40, 23 to 26,000 pounds. Probably awful to drive, probably awful to live with, but unfortunately worth the money. 1946 MGTC, that's a good looking car, 8 to 10,000 pounds. 1972 Ford Capri 3 litre GT, it's a 3 litre, it's brown, it's 18 to 22,000 pounds. Looks like it's got red leather. I love it. 1964 Volkswagen Carmen Ghia left-hand drive, 13 to 16,000 pounds. Again, these cars seem to shoot right up and just stabilise. And then you've got a 1963 Austin Healey 3000, 33 to 36,000 pounds. Wow, these Healeys really are coming down, so I wouldn't really be advising to go and get one of those. 91 Lotus Elan SE Turbo. Don't know why you buy that when you can have a Mazda MX-5, which is the better car. Lot 572 2011 Peugeot RCZ GT HDI, one owner, 584 miles. I've always loved the Peugeot RCZ. I do need to buy one at some point, but it'd be interesting to see what that makes with just 584 miles on the clock. Cool car. Disappointed they never did a convertible. Lot 573, 1979 Lotus 7. I mean, who doesn't love a Lotus 7? 15 to 17,000 pounds and a good market for it. Lot number 574, a race-prepared 1967 Mercedes-Benz Pagoda 250 SL. If you want to get really geeky about the 250 SL, they only made it for 2 years. I think it was less than that, actually. I think they only made it for a year. They only made about 2,000 of them. It is the rarest of the Pagodas, and it is a lovely engine. And if you want to go racing, 30 to 35,000 pounds is a lot less than it would cost you to build one. Lot 575, Mrs. Geoff is yawning. Rover Mini Racing Flame Checkmate, 3,500 to 4,500 pounds. Again, there's just too many minis in this auction. You've got the pick if that's what you want. Lot 576, 1967 Morris Mini Moke, but as I said with the other one, the weather in the UK just doesn't justify it. Lot 577 is an Alfa Romeo 147 3.2 V6 24 valve GTA. Haven't we already had one of those? And I said yes to that. Lot 578 is a 2003 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, 14 to 18,000 pounds. Don't really know the values on the Jap stuff, but that looks like a nice car. Lot 579 is a Volvo 131 Amazon. I don't understand why these aren't going up in price. 8 to 10 seems like a bit of a bargain for a two-door Amazon. Then we've got another Sapphire Cosworth 4x4, 22 to 26,000 pounds. You know my thoughts on these. I preferred them when they were £5,000. 1980 Ford Capri 3-litre S, another Capri, 12 to 15 on that one. Looks nice in that blue, doesn't it? That's a nice colour. And then a 1990 Mercedes 300 SL 24 Auto. I'm sorry, this is the one that you want to buy. This is the 24 valve one. That's the pick of the bunch. It's the earliest one. It's a 1990. This shape SL was introduced in, I think, 1990 model year. So it's one of the very early ones. That's the best engine to have. It's got the most character out of all the SL engines, and I like the early shape. BMW 318 convertible, again, I think I've said before, I preferred these when they were 500 quid. BMW 316i Touring, I can't justify spending £5,000 to £7,000 on a 1.6 litre BMW E30 when you used to be able to pick them up for 500 quid. RS Turbo there for 8 to 10, Daimler Double 6, 10.5 to 12.5, cool car, and a Mustang left-hand drive, 12.5 to £15,000, ready to go racing. MGA Coupe there, 13 to 15, 1957, good looking car for the money. And then an SLK 230 compressor at 3.5 to 4.5 pounds, but I reckon you can snag one of those for about 1,500 quid, so go and do that instead. 1990 Lotus Esprit 2.2 in white, 14 to 16,000 pound, priced well, good cars. Is there the market for that to reach its estimate? Not so sure. 1962 Daimler Majestic Major Limousine left-hand drive, don't know who's buying that, to be totally honest. Or this one, Ford Transit 120, short wheelbase, one owner. I know there are Transit fans out there, and it's hip to be trans in 2025. 1972 MGB Roadster, again, plenty of choice. There's some very loud yawning, which I think is Mr. Geoff hinting that the video is coming to an end. 1967 Volkswagen Beetle with a ragtop for no reserve. And finally, a Jaguar 420 Auto, 5 to 7,000 pounds. Geoff, next time you do a video of Anglia Car Auctions, count how many cars are in the auction before you start the video, because you might end up with a really long video. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, the code word is Geoff, I think it's time for bed. But I do think you should tell me, and go and have a look on the Anglia Car Auctions website, which car would you be taking away from the auction? I think my pick out of all of those has to be the Jaguar XJR. Let's just find it at the end here. I do like the Bentley Arnage, but I just couldn't stomach the running costs of an Arnage. So there it is, Jaguar 4-litre V8 automatic, no reserves, got a great big hole in the front wing as well. So it's already a Geoff car. All I've got to do is have a little sticker made to cover that hole, and we are away. There we go, that's my car. I'm going to get in touch with Anglia Car Auctions and whack a bid on that. You know it's going to be completely rotten underneath, but you'll look good driving around in it from 20 feet. That's a 2020 car, isn't it? 20 feet and a £20 valet, absolutely bob on. Get up close and it'll be an absolute disaster. Look at that, traction control fail, stability control fail, the headlining's falling down. You know it's rusty, but you've got a Jag and you've forgotten your wallet. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching.